The following segment is sponsored by Dean Sausage Company.
And welcome back to Talk of Alabama. We are in the Mazer kitchen, and you know we're getting serious when we get the aprons out. That is right. We are with Hugh Miller from Dean Sausage Company, and we're making a low-carb portable food for your tailgate or your game day, as well as a spinach dip. So you've already begun over here.
I got a little bit of a head start, but the thing that's neat about this is we're using a coconut flour instead of a traditional flour, so that introduces the low-carb element into what we're doing. Of course, we've got sausage and cheese, got a little sour cream, so we're not losing any taste.
Okay.
But we are on that low-carb piece.
Let me ask you this: that kind of flour, so does it rise like another flour would, or?
You still got to add a little bit of baking powder to this in order to get the rise out of it.
Okay.
But the flour is still going to help hold it together real nicely along with the cheese.
I gotcha. Okay, so what did you mix to make these balls?
Well,
or what's the portion, I should say?
Well, you got a pound of sausage.
Then you
got 2 cups of cheddar cheese.
2 cups of cheddar cheese.
You got 4 eggs. You got 4.5 tablespoons of butter. Of course, you got to have your flavor in there, right? Mm-hmm. You got 2 tablespoons of sour cream, a half cup of coconut flour, a quarter teaspoon of baking powder, and a quarter teaspoon of salt and garlic powder.
Okay.
So
and that's it. You mix it all up?
And it's really pretty simple, and I just kind of, I beat the eggs
Let's show this
together.
Way. So this is the consistency of what it looks like. It's not completely stuck together, but it's bonding enough to make the ball with.
Right. And then I'm just using this little tablespoon and kind of using that to round up. And
okay.
And they're not super consistent, but I can tell you they're going to be good.
Okay, they look delicious.
Every time I walk in the studio, everybody says, "What are you making today?" I said, "Well, it'll be good." And they say, "Yeah, it's always good."
It's always good with sausage. Now, what temperature do we cook these on, and for how long?
These are 375 and 14 to 18 minutes, so you got to keep an eye on them. And that 14 to 18 is really determined on how big you make your sausage balls. Okay. If you make them bigger, you got to cook them a little bit longer.
Now, is this a wax paper or like a parchment paper?
It's parchment paper
that you put it on.
Right, and that way it doesn't stick to the baking sheet. It's easy to get off.
If you don't have parchment paper at home and you want to make these today, can you just use like a Pam or something to spray your?
Let's say a non-stick foil or parchment paper is what the recipe calls for.
Non-stick foil or parchment paper.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I got a little bit left over, so I'm gonna have to
make a second batch.
Make a second small batch, but that's ready to go. And then the next thing we got is a spinach dip.
Okay.
And my son's living out on his own now, so he kind of came up with this recipe, so I'm supposed to give him credit. So
he's already living on his own? How old's your son?
He's 25. He lives in Memphis.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, he should be living on his own, I guess. So is that something that you guys do together? Like when he's home or he's around, do you guys cook together, or do you guys cook as a family?
You get in the food business, you start cooking.
Yes.
So we trade some recipes and try some little things in the kitchen.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so has he made the spinach dip a lot since he's been on his own? Is that like a staple in his house?
I don't check in on him daily, but I know he makes it a good bit.
Well, these look like a delicious recipe, and these are considered to be like an appetizer, but these look like they could be a meal.
They could be. I guess you make them big enough, they could be.
Well, it's got everything in. You got your dairy and your carbs and a little bit of carb, not much. These are low-carb option, but your protein with your meat, so lots of deliciousness.
And then you could put these in a little heat tray to carry with you to your tailgate, or so you can do a lot of different things with these.
Okay, we'll be back, Hugh, for the spinach dip that your son created in just a little bit.
Be great, thanks.
Don't go far at home. We're getting details about the handmade art show happening in Homewood this weekend next. Look at all this beautiful stuff. We'll be right back.